Hey, I'm Joshua Hamlin, the lead primitive skills instructor at Sigma 3. Today I'm going to show you how to make grass mats. So you might be asking yourself, what are grass mats useful for? Well, they're useful for a lot of things. For one thing, grass mats keep you up off the ground if you're using them for bedding. They create dead airspace between your body and the ground, and you lose a lot of heat to the ground when it's cold out. You lose more heat to the ground than to the air. So creating dead airspace between your body and the ground is pretty important. A more important use of grass mats, though, is for thatching shelters. I'm making a wigwam right now out at Sigma 3, and I'm going to thatch it with these grass mats. This is just one of the mats that's going to go on the wigwam. I'll show you the wigwam when it's completed also. So for making this grass mat, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need 2 stakes with Ys on them. This is going to hold a stick that the grass mat is tied to. Then you're going to need 5 stakes. I'm using 5. You can use 3, 5, 7, any number you can choose over 2 you can use. The more, though, the structurally more stable your mat is. Also, the length of the grass is dependent on how wide your mat can be. This grass here, I'm in a grass field that's out on my property. The grass is pretty tall. It's not really tall, but it's tall enough to do this with. So the first step of this process is to set the loom up, and I'm going to do that right now. So what I did here is I hammered the 2 stakes with the Y on it right here, and my cross stick is going to go into that Y like this. This is going to be the start of the grass mat here. Over here I put 5 stakes. So I usually use 3, but 5 is stronger, more stable, so I use 5 this time. This is going to be the handle of the loom. This is going to go up and down to tell us where to move the strings out of the way to slide our grass in. Up once, slide grass in, down once, slide grass in. This stick here is for tightening the whole bundle up together, and then this will also be our tie-off. Now if you're making fences instead of grass mats, these sticks could be longer on one end and pointed as stakes, and then you could hammer your fencing down into the ground. But we're not doing that here. Alright, so now I need to tie some strings. I'm going to tie a string from each one of these 5 posts back around this stick here and then back to this handle. And I'll show you that as soon as I get it tied up. What I'm going to be using is the innards of paracord. I have a piece of paracord here about, 12 foot long, and I'll pull the innards out of it and tie one innard to each one of these, wrap it around that, come back and tie to our handle stick. I'll show you that when it's done. Okay, so our loom is done. Important thing to mention is, with this loom is reusable. You can make as many grass mats on here as you want to. You'll have to replace the strings because the strings will remain part of the mat, but you can use this over and over again for mats, for tipi beds, all kinds of stuff, fences. How this works is we go down, we slide in a bundle, we go up, slide in a bundle, press them tight, and when we come down again, we're going to cross over and go over the sticks this way. So we're basically going back and forth like this. What that does is that keeps your string close together. Otherwise, if you don't do that, the string will start spreading apart wide on your mat and it won't hold the grass in very well. So we'll be going down, down, down like this. Another important thing to mention about this loom is it takes 2 people. One person to slide the grass in, one person to operate the loom. I got my son here with me, Silas. He's going to help me operate this while I slide the grass in. First thing we got to do though is get grass. For that, I brought hedge trimmers. You can use your knife, but this is just way faster. So we're going to gather up all this grass and we'll come back and show you how it goes. Okay, so we got a pretty big bundle of grass here. It's not going to be enough for this whole mat, but it's enough to get started and show you how we do this. All right, this grass is pretty short, not quite long enough. So what I'm going to do is grab a bundle like this, pull it in half, cross it over itself so that the bottoms are on both ends and it meets in the center. If you're doing thatching for roofs, do not do that. You want all your leaves facing the same direction if you're doing thatching for roofs. But thatching for walls like this is, it's okay to do that. So I'm just going to slide this in across the strings, push it tight, and then my son's going to lift up the loom. I'm going to grab another bundle, do the exact same thing. Slide it in. Now I have here a stick. Hand me that stick, Silas. I have here a stick. This stick tightens it all together like that. No. Now I'll add another bundle, and I'll just keep repeating this process until the whole thing is done. Slide it in like so. Raise it up. And now he's alternating. He's going back and forth across these as he lifts it up. I'll just keep doing the same thing, alternating back and forth with each bundle. He's lifting the loom stick and he's alternating. And then we'll get a close up and show you what I mean by that. What the alternating is doing is keeping these strings together as they wrap around the grass. Otherwise they will separate and your grass will spread apart. All right, we've come to the end of the size of this loom. You can make this loom as big as you want. You can make it any size. You can make it really long and make really long ones. The weight of the grass does start bending everything in though if you make a big loom. How I'm going to finish this off is I'm going to use the stick that I've been using to compact these. And I'm just going to tie it in as part of the thing. That makes it easier to carry these. So I'm going to cut these off one at a time. I'm just going to tie a couple overhand knots. Try and tie a couple overhand knots. Real tight. You want it real tight. Then I'm going to come to the next one. Do the same thing. Cut it off. Cut it off. Then I'm going to come to the next one. Finally, the last one. There's our mat. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing just to make this look nice. Now, you don't have to do this. It doesn't help it in any way, but it does make it look nice, and I like nice looking. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off all the ends. I'm going to come on this side and do the same thing. Now this stick just lifts right out of the thing. Now here's the grass mat that me and Silas just made. Not too hard to do. Thanks for watching.